Hey everybody, and welcome to today's deep dive.
Yes, welcome.
We're going to be looking at meditation today, and we've got a really cool combo of sources to help us with this one.
Yeah, we do.
We've got over 3,000 years worth of wisdom from the Upanishads,
Mm.
and then we're going to be balancing that out with a modern-day perspective from a YouTube spiritual teacher
Right.
named Kwasi Johir.
Yeah.
And we're going to try and see what meditation really is, according to these sources.
Okay.
What the potential benefits of it are, and maybe even some practical steps that we can take to get started.
Absolutely.
So let's start way back in time with the Upanishads,
Okay.
a collection of sacred Hindu texts.
Mm-hmm.
As we said, over 3,000 years old. They're kind of the foundation for a lot of Hindu philosophical thought.
Yeah, they are.
So what do they have to say about meditation?
Well, they really stress that meditation is not about reflecting on things or thinking things over. It's not discursive thinking.
Okay.
It's really about concentration, and training the mind to focus on a single point.
And Kwasi Johir, our modern-day guide,
Yeah.
where does he fit into all of this?
Well, actually, I think he really echoes a lot of what the Upanishads say about focusing on one thing.
Right.
Whether that be the breath or a mantra or some kind of visual point or even just awareness itself.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating this unwavering attention.
It's amazing how they're on the same page, even separated by thousands of years.
Yeah, it is.
But then Johir goes on to talk about these 4 states of functioning.
He does.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so he describes this yogic belief in 4 states, the first being kind of our normal waking reality,
Okay.
the second dream sleep,
Uh-huh.
third dreamless sleep,
Okay.
and then the fourth is Tuya.
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 No, this is something new.
Right, and it's the highest state supposedly attainable through meditation.
Now, what is this Tuya state all about?
It's often described as super consciousness.
Okay.
So like waking up within reality, realizing that what we perceive as reality is just another layer of perception or like a character almost. Like we've woken up inside the character.
That's a pretty heavy concept.
It is.
So how do we even begin to reach this state?
Well, Joe here kind of lays out this 3-stage progression
Okay.
in meditation.
Like a roadmap.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first state is dharana, and that's about concentrating on a single point, which
Okay.
we were just discussing.
Right.
The second is dhalana.
Down.
And this is where thoughts start to quiet down.
Okay.
And you begin to feel a merging with the object of your focus.
Right.
And then the third stage is samadhi.
And so what happens during samadhi?
It's described as a glimpse of enlightenment and bliss.
Enlightenment and bliss.
Senses kind of fade into the background, and this pure awareness comes to the foreground.
So all of this is fascinating.
Yeah.
But I think I'm really curious about the ultimate goal of all this.
Right.
So according to Johir, what's the point of meditation?
Well, he suggests that it's to connect with the pure I am awareness.
I am.
Right? And that's the observer beyond our thoughts and feelings. So it's like that sense of just being before you start thinking about who you are and what you're doing.
So it's tapping into our core essence, the part of us that is always there beneath the surface.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
He uses a really powerful analogy, and he compares this awareness to the state before the Big Bang.
Okay.
So like pure oneness and potential
Wow.
before the emergence of, everything we know.
That's a pretty cool image.
Yeah.
So if meditation can lead to this profound state of awareness,
Yeah.
why aren't more people doing it?
That's a good question, and Joe here has a few thoughts on why this is.
Well, like what?
Well, for one thing, he points out how much our society is obsessed with external achievements,
Yeah.
like wealth and status and appearances,
Right.
So much that we neglect our internal world.
We're always striving for that next thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And he also says that, somewhere along the way, we lost touch with a lot of the ancient wisdom and knowledge. And we've replaced it with systems that actually profit off of keeping us distracted and focused on consuming more.
So it's by design.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
And then he also brings up this interesting theory about the yugas,
Okay.
which are kind of epochs of spiritual darkness and light.
Okay.
And he suggests that we might be emerging from a dark age,
Okay.
which could explain why we're seeing this, renewed interest in things like meditation and spirituality.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe there's hope for us yet.
Yeah.
But let's say that someone's listening to us and they're like, okay, I want to try this meditation thing.
Right.
Where do they even begin?
Well, actually, Joe here recommends a really simple practice.
Okay.
Find a comfortable seated position with your spine erect and simply watch your breath.
Okay, so just focus on the inhales and exhales.
Yeah, exactly.
But what happens when my mind starts wandering all over the place?
Well, that's totally normal.
Okay.
And when it does, and it will just gently bring it back to the breath.
So it's like training a muscle.
Yeah. Strengthening our ability to focus.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm starting the picture here, but isn't meditation also supposed to be about having these like amazing blissful experiences?
Yeah, it can be, but Joe here actually cautions against trying to chase those experiences or induce them with substances.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, he brings up the Buddha,
Okay.
who experienced these really profound states of consciousness,
Yeah.
but recognized that they weren't the ultimate goal.
So it's not about fireworks and instant enlightenment? No,
Yeah.
what is it about?
He says that it's about gradual and consistent practice that leads to lasting transformation.
So slow and steady wins the race, even when it comes to meditation.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
And he even suggests that as we get more comfortable with the practice, we can incorporate a self-inquiry process to deepen our awareness.
Self-inquiry.
Yeah, and he actually provides a link to another video where he goes into more detail about this.
Cool. A little breadcrumb trail for our listeners.
Yeah.
So let's quickly recap what we've learned so far, because we've covered a lot of ground already.
We talked about how the Upanishads and Quasi-Johir define meditation.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the different stages involved,
Yeah.
from focusing on a single point to potentially reaching that state of samadhi.
Right.
We've even touched on the ultimate goal of connecting with that pure I am awareness.
The sense of just being.
Yes.
We've even talked about why more people don't meditate.
Right, and how societal factors might actually play a role.
And we've given our listeners a practical place to start.
Yeah.
That breath-focused meditation.
Right.
It's amazing to me that we can draw these connections between this ancient wisdom
Yeah.
and this modern-day teaching.
The continuity is really remarkable.
Yeah. So I have a question for our listeners out there.
Okay.
Could incorporating even a small amount of daily meditation help you to break free from some of those external distractions and tap into your own I am awareness?
That's a great question to think about.
And maybe watching Johir's self-inquiry video or exploring some other resources might be a good next step on your own deep dive into meditation.
Absolutely.
Cool.
What's really interesting about this I am awareness?
What's that?
It's not just in the Upanishads and Johir's teachings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it pops up in a lot of different spiritual and philosophical traditions.
Huh. That's interesting. Like what?
We'll take Advaita Vedanta, for example.
Okay.
It's a school of Hindu philosophy. And they refer to this pure awareness as Atman,
Atman.
which is essentially the true self
Okay.
that exists beneath all the layers of our individual identities.
So it's kind of like that unchanging essence within us.
Exactly.
The part that's always there,
Yeah.
even as our thoughts and emotions are, coming and going.
Right. It's like the eye of the storm.
Yeah, okay.
And it's not just in Hinduism either.
Oh, yeah.
In Buddhism, the concept of anatta,
Anatta?
which points to the impermanence of the self, also kind of leads to this similar realization of a boundless awareness beyond the ego.
So all these different paths are pointing toward the same fundamental truth.
Kind of, yeah.
There's so much wisdom out there,
There is.
just waiting to be discovered.
And it's not just ancient wisdom that points to this truth.
Oh, really?
Even modern psychology and neuroscience
Okay.
are starting to understand the benefits of mindfulness and self-awareness,
Interesting.
which are really closely aligned with what we're talking about here.
So there's some scientific backing to this idea of cultivating a deeper awareness.
Yeah, there is.
What kind of benefits have they found?
Well, studies have shown that regular meditation can reduce stress and anxiety.
Okay.
It can improve focus and attention.
Mm-hmm.
And it can even help with emotional regulation.
So it's not just some mystical, esoteric thing.
Yeah, not at all.
There are real, tangible benefits.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And as research continues, I think we're likely to uncover even more.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. Even knowing all of this, it can be really tough to actually sit down and meditate.
It can.
Our minds are so busy, it's hard to just shut everything off.
Right. It definitely takes practice.
Yeah.
Like any skill.
Mm-hmm.
But, even a few minutes a day can make a real difference.
Okay, so you don't have to become a monk and live in a cave
No, not at all.
to get the benefits.
You can integrate, small moments of mindfulness into your day.
Okay.
You can meditate on the train waiting in line at the store.
So just finding those pockets of stillness.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And remember, it's not about reaching some perfect state of meditation.
Right.
It's just about gently guiding your attention back to the present moment whenever it wanders.
So the practice itself matters,
Exactly.
not necessarily achieving some like blissful state right away.
Right.
And as we get more comfortable, we might feel drawn to explore more advanced techniques,
We might.
like that self-inquiry process
Right.
that Joe here was talking about. It's cool to think that learning's a continuous process.
It is.
There's always more to uncover.
Always.
So where do we go from here with all of these ideas swirling around?
Well, I think the important message is that we have the tools and the knowledge to start exploring meditation on our own,
Yeah.
even if it's just for a few minutes each day, and we don't have to wait for some perfect moment or ideal circumstances.
Yeah.
This idea of connecting with the I am awareness, it's not just for monks or spiritual masters.
Yeah. It's not some exclusive club with a secret handshake.
No, it's accessible to everyone.
It's already within us.
It is.
It's just waiting to be discovered.
It's part of our nature.
It makes you think about Joe Here's point about society's obsession with external achievements.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, it makes me wonder if meditation could be a kind of rebellion.
Oh, rebellion. How so?
Well, in a world that's constantly telling us what to buy, how to look, who to be,
Yeah.
choosing to turn inward
Yeah.
and focus on our own awareness feels almost radical,
It does.
right?
It's like reclaiming your attention.
Yeah.
And saying, I'm not going to get swept away by all this external noise.
Exactly.
I'm going to invest in my inner world.
My worth and my happiness don't come from chasing external validation. They come from within.
And by doing that, you might discover a much deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment than anything external could provide.
And think about the ripple effect.
Oh, yeah.
If more people started prioritizing their inner well-being,
Right.
how that could transform our communities, even society as a whole.
It's a beautiful vision.
Yeah.
A world where compassion, empathy, understanding
Yeah.
are at the forefront.
Driven by individuals who are connected to their own inner peace.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's bring it back to our listener for a moment.
Okay.
If you're feeling intrigued by all of this, but maybe a bit unsure where to start, there are so many resources available.
There are.
Besides Joe Here's self-inquiry video,
Right.
there are tons of books, apps, online communities
Yeah.
dedicated to meditation.
You can find guided meditations for beginners. Explore different techniques.
Connect with other people
Yeah.
who are on a similar path.
It's a great way to learn and grow.
And remember, it's not about being perfect or doing it right.
No.
It's about showing up for yourself,
Yeah.
even for a few minutes each day.
Just cultivate that inner stillness.
Exactly. It's funny, talking about all this meditation stuff. I've been thinking about my own experiences with it.
Oh, really? What's your journey been like?
It's been a little bit of a mixed bag, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
Like some days I can sit down and feel that peace and clarity, almost immediately.
Yeah.
But then other days my mind is like a runaway train,
Right.
and it's all I can do to just bring it back to my breath.
It's so normal, though. I think a lot of people experience that, especially when they're first starting out.
Yeah, I guess it's not always easy or glamorous.
Not always, no.
Sometimes I find myself getting frustrated, like, why can't I just quiet my mind already?
Oh, yeah.
But then I have to remember, it's a practice.
Yeah.
It's okay if it's messy sometimes.
It's not about, striving for some perfect state of stillness.
Right.
It's about noticing those thoughts and gently guiding your attention back.
No judgment.
No judgment.
But, even though it's not always easy, I have noticed some benefits
Yeah.
from making meditation a regular thing.
Like what?
I feel like I'm less reactive to stress,
Okay.
and I'm definitely more aware of my thoughts and emotions now.
That's great that you're starting to experience those positive effects.
It makes me want to explore even more.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about all the resources that are available.
Right. There are a ton.
Maybe we could share some of our favorites with our listeners,
Oh, for sure.
just to give them a starting point.
Yeah. One book that was really helpful for me when I was starting out is Mindfulness in Plain English.
Oh, yeah. I've heard good things about that one.
It's a really clear and simple intro to the practice.
And there are so many great apps out there, too.
Oh, yeah. Tons.
I personally like Calm.
Calm. Yeah.
They have a wide variety of guided meditations and sleep stories and music, which I find really helpful.
Insight Timer is a good one, too.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's got a huge library of meditations from teachers all over the world.
And it's free.
Yeah, it's free.
Oh, that's a great point. There are also tons of online communities
There are.
dedicated to meditation.
Yeah, places where you can connect with other people who are on a similar path.
Yeah, and share experiences and stuff.
Exactly. Those can be super valuable.
especially if you're feeling kind of isolated or alone on the journey
Absolutely.
or unsure about your practice.
Yeah, having that sense of community can be really helpful.
Absolutely. So to our listeners, if you're feeling inspired to dive deeper,
Yeah,
we encourage you to explore some of these resources.
for sure.
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah, find what works for you.
There's no one right way to meditate.
Exactly.
It's all about finding a practice that resonates with you and that you can stick with.
And something you enjoy?
Yeah, exactly. Something you enjoy.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of meditation,
Yeah.
I think it's important to emphasize that this journey of self-discovery, it's ongoing.
Always.
It's not like you reach some end point and you're done.
There's always more to learn and experience.
More to uncover within ourselves.
For sure.
So to our listeners, we leave you with this invitation. Keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.
You never know what you might discover.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.